A question was posed to Jordan Peterson live. The depth of my consciousness causes me to suffer. Is it a blessing or a curse to feel everything so deeply? Peterson's answer was stark. The only way out is through. He said you take more of the thing that poisons you until you turn it into a tonic that girdles the world around you. That is an apocalyptic piece of life advice. It means confronting your pain head-on is the only path to transformation. You do not run from it, you use it. There is a critical difference between letting people be peaceful and saying men should be dangerous. A harmless man is not a good man. Dangerous does not mean using force. It means being capable of it. If you are not a formidable force, there is no morality in your self-control. If you are incapable of violence, not being violent is not a virtue. It is just weakness. Martial arts teaches this perfectly. You learn to be dangerous and simultaneously learn to control it. The combination of capacity for danger and capacity for control produces genuine virtue. Confusing weakness with moral virtue is a catastrophic error. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control.
Think of Beauty and the Beast. Beauty is not interested in the man who is not the beast. She is interested in the beast that can be civilized and disciplined. That beast uses that power in service of a family. This is exactly how it should be. Dangerous, but discipline creates a peaceful world.
When people around you are dangerous but disciplined, everyone watches their step. Where there is no capacity for danger, there is no sanction for poor behavior. Now, Peterson speaks to those locked in miserable careers, afraid to take risks. He says you should be afraid of taking risks, but you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it makes you miserable. There is no permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. The clock is ticking. If you are miserable now and change nothing, in 5 years you will be much more miserable and much older. Consider this. Peterson asks students how much time they waste per day. 10% admit to wasting 10 hours a day. 80% admit to wasting 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day equals 42 hours a week. That is a full work week wasted. At just $50 an hour, that is $0 a week, $100,000 a year. Over 40 years, that is $4 million wasted. Productive hours compounded when young gain benefits for the rest of your life. People resist this calculation. They do not want to wake up and realize they have been wasting half their life. Recognizing wasted time forces you to confront your own lack of discipline and aimlessness. It forces you to face your bitterness, and nobody wants to face that, but you must.
Here's a story. A barber lost his shop during the pandemic and stacked shelves overnight. When asked how he was finding it, he said, "I miss being good at something."
He did not mind the work. He did not mind the people, but he missed the feeling of mastery. People need the opportunity to be good at something. It is not optional for well-being. The best antidote to the discomfort of life is not comfort. It is adventure toward excellence. Excellence is a far better antidote to suffering than the mere absence of suffering. Life is fundamentally tragic and difficult for everyone. It is also tainted by malevolence. No matter how bad things are, there is always something stupid that could make it worse. Constant contact with tragedy, combined with betrayal and malevolence, makes you bitter. You need something to set against that. You need to do something worthwhile by your own definition. You need a reason to get out of bed on a terrible day because you have something good to do. The best thing you can do, transcend your current self. Let your old self die and the new self be reborn.
There has been an attempt to identify masculine competence and power with tyranny. This is very harmful to young men, and to young women too.
It is helpful for people to hear they should make themselves competent and dangerous and take their proper place in the world. The people who shoot up schools are weak. Weakness made them suffer stupidly, and that made them cruel. Weakness leads to suffering. Suffering leads to cruelty. And after cruelty, there is no limit. The meek shall inherit the earth. But meek is mistranslated. It means those who have swords and know how to use them but keep them sheathed. You have to be powerful and formidable, and then peaceful. In that order. Naive, weak, and harmless means you cannot withstand the tragedies of life. You cannot bear responsibility, and you will end up bitter. It is not okay to be a man. It is necessary to be a man. Men are doing impossible things. Under streets, up on power lines in storms, keeping impossible infrastructure functioning. They work themselves to death, and often literally.
The gratitude for that is sorely lacking. People with privilege take everything for granted. They fail to understand the massive infrastructure of hardworking men, breaking themselves to keep everything functioning.
Everyone has an important and necessary role. Acting properly, honestly, and forthrightly allows you to put your life together, help your family, and make your community better. This is not toxic masculinity. This is what keeps the world going. Pursuing what makes you happy is a luxury. Pursuing what is meaningful is a moral obligation. If your job is killing your soul, do not just quit. Think strategically. You may need to educate yourself more. Update your resume. Overcome your fear of interviews. Sharpen social skills. Switching careers responsibly might take a couple of years of real effort. Life is hard. The meaning is not found in rights or impulsive pleasure, but in responsibility. Take responsibility for yourself, then your family, then your community. Heavy burdens picked up willingly become the source of meaning. The best way to carry the burden is to continually improve yourself. That is where meaning lies. Now a personal story. I was bullied as a child, and an only child with few people to back me up. For years, I carried a chip on my shoulder about the kids who mistreated me. Years later, I realized many things I valued in myself were the light side of something dark created during that time. My complete willingness to be alone meant no fear of moving to a new country. Not having a tight social network meant not being beholden to anyone. I still seek validation. I recognize that as a wound from childhood, but there are steps to process it. Step 1. Realize you probably would not be here without what you went through. Step 2. Gratitude for what you have built. Step 3. Pride in turning something negative into something positive. Step 4. Actual thankfulness for the suffering itself. Practicing gratitude is one of the primary spiritual disciplines. People say, my life is so horrible. What do I have to be grateful for? That is a form of blindness. In the most difficult situations, the search for gratitude becomes deeper and more difficult, but also more necessary. There is a tight association between loving your enemy, and being grateful in spite of terrible things. Consider the story of Job. God deems Job a genuinely good man. Then all hell breaks loose as God makes a bet with Satan to do his worst. Job loses everything. He becomes disfigured with illness. His friends mock him and claim his suffering is punishment for being a bad man. Job refuses to lose faith in himself. He says, "I have done what I should." He knows this is not obviously related to his sin. It is the random play of tragic forces. His wife urges him to curse God and die. He refuses. The moral of Job: you are morally obligated to maintain faith no matter what happens to you. If life feels like God and Satan conspired against you, and you react with bitterness and resentment, you have opened a whole other hell underneath the one you are already in. The hell of bitterness and resentment makes everything infinitely worse. Think things are bad just because they are bad. Wait until you see how bad they become when you allow yourself to be corrupted by your unjust suffering. Do not let that happen. Transform your pain. Take the poison. Turn it into a tonic. Become dangerous but disciplined. Seek meaning, not comfort. And remember, the only way out